Welcome back to Bread and Butter, everybody. We're serving up the basics for Hearthstone improvement in episode 82. And as always, I am Doc McButt, joined by my co-host Tito. Tito, how are you doing today?
Doc, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. So Tito, what have you been doing in the world of Hearthstone?
Honestly, I have not played a ton this week because, not because I haven't wanted to play. I have wanted to play, but like life has just been kind of busy with lots of things, except for Wednesday, where I and you and we theory crafted and we played with the new cards. Doc, how exciting was that?
It was a lot of fun, and I'll be perfectly honest, until this expansion, I had never been a super big fan of like theory crafting or like digesting theory crafting content, because I'm one of the people like I'd rather just play it rather than see it be played early. But with being one of the people who get the special opportunity to get to play the cards early, oh man, that it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I get it now. I still think as far as like content wise, theory crafting content isn't for me. But being part of the theory crafting event, I would say, is definitely something I enjoy. How about yourself?
It was great. It was absolutely. Now, I did not try to optimize decks. I was not trying to. In fact, I sent some decks over to Pilot, and he's like, "Wait, what are you trying to do here?" I'm like, "I'm playing new cards. Leave me alone." But no, it was because I mean, I was all over the place. I was just like, "I want to play this card. I want to play this card. I want to play this card," and I was excited. I was more excited for the opportunity to do the theory crafting than the theory crafting. It's like most of the time I used to kind of do the theory crafting, hop from stream to stream, try to win some bundles and whatnot. And instead I was able to give away some bundles, and it was nice to have the shoe on the other foot. But yeah, outside of that, I have played some Battlegrounds. I have played some Standard. I'm a little further down than I would like to be. I think I'm around 2,300, which sounds good, but where we started, I want to try to get back to close to where we started, but also I know how horrible I am when new sets come out, like mini sets or sets, and I like a stale meta where I can learn to play. But so we're gonna try to be aggressive. We're gonna try to play some new stuff, but we're also gonna try to play good. So we'll see how that goes. How about yourself, Doc? What have you been doing inside of Hearthstone?
Honestly, aside from theory crafting, nothing other than waiting for the new expansion. Wanted to play some BGs, but just got caught up in doing some other stuff because, as everyone who listens to this knows, my life outside of Hearthstone is usually pretty busy. So it's just hard for me to find the time this time around other than theory crafting.
Okay, but we have been talking, and we're thinking about trying to make kind of a thing about trying to get you up to legend, right? So how?
I wouldn't say the legend word quite yet. Yes, that would be awesome. But I would be happy with getting back into plat, because I used to get to plat every month, and then that's when I would get burnt out and just like it's been a week and a half. I'm in plat. I just start playing other stuff. But yeah, soft goal, get back to plat.
Long goal, legend. We want to. Yeah. We want to take this. So Doc, you're the nerdy girl in the 80s movie, and we're gonna take your glasses off. We're gonna put your hair down, and people are gonna go, "Wow, Doc is beautiful." Only we're gonna make you legend.
Yeah, I wish I could take my hair down, but you have to have hair to do that.
I feel you there, Doc, because I also am not with the hair. Although I probably could grow some like George Costanza looking hair, but being in the military and being balding, I just tend to stick with it. So we'll figure out how to work that in. We're not looking to make Doc legend in August. We're not looking to make Doc August and September. We're looking to take Doc, mold him into a better Hearthstone player, and use the teachings that we have used on the show and inch your way up and figure out what's good and what's not and make it there. So I'm excited for this, Doc. I'm very excited for this.
Now, yeah, me too. It'll be a fun time.
Now, if you can make it on the episode 100 episode, which is, a good ways away, 18 weeks or 17 weeks or something
November.
like that. November. Yeah, that would be, I would say, a attainable goal, maybe. But let's see, you say like you get burnt out. I never get burnt out at Hearthstone. I don't like it took me 17 years to get burnt out of WoW. So it's just I have that kind of my mind works differently than I think others.
I say burnt out, but I think it's more of my ADHD hyper focus fixation changes after me doing something for that amount of time, like so regularly with having to play Hearthstone in that kind of quantity. So then it's like, my brain needs to do this other thing so that I can go back and enjoy the thing I enjoy later. And so that's why I usually just like, okay, time to go dump like 30, 40 hours into another game just because it's what my brain is telling me to do.
And you say have to play Hearthstone. I have it as I get to play Hearthstone. And yes, my obsession with playing games like this, like WoW, like Hearthstone, has prevented me from playing a lot of other games. I would rather just play what I'm playing. And like I know there's a cool game, and like I play Civ every Friday night, and I have played some other games recently. I still got to get back into Hades 2 and Death to Chronos, but I just really it's like I got a choice. Like wait, I have some games to finish, right? I still have to finish what was the one? The Plague's Tale. I still have to finish.
Ooh, yeah, it's good.
I know, and I'm decently way through it. I'm like probably more than 3/4 of the way through it, I think, or maybe halfway through it. I still have to finish Inscription. I did finish Evertale. I did finish Hades, and I played a lot of Hades. That was like the one game that really kind of gripped me and pulled me away from like everything, and I was just kind of obsessed with. And like I said, I like playing Civ, but it's just Hearthstone grabs me, and it's like, well, I would even sit down, and this is the problem. This is why. So I'm trying to be a content creator, obviously, right? Outside of not just the podcast, but I'm trying to make some other things, and I need to put the work in, and I need to like watch videos and make videos, and I know my audio isn't great. I think it's mostly the acoustics in the 3-season porch I record in, and we'll figure some of that out too. And I should be spending all this time on this, but like it gets to be like right now I'm trying to make some clips and stuff from the theory crafting, and I'm doing that, right? But like right now I'd rather just turn on my stream and play Hearthstone. And it's just, I don't know, some of us are just wired differently, and I'm glad I've been able to like hopefully focus it now, like because it never used to be focused on being a better player. It was always focused on being a better player, but like playing weird decks and trying to make obelisk rogue work and that kind of stuff. And now that I'm kind of not necessarily just focused on meta, but playing good, I think it's like a different thing. I know it's a little bit of a tangent rant, but I just love the game, and doing the theory crafting was like, it was, I can't tell you how like off the wall I was all week. It was just, and I didn't get much done. I didn't get much prep done for it. I didn't get many decks for it, but we kind of took decks as we went, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, man, I hear you. Like I probably should be in that place where like, yeah, I'll play Hearthstone for a while. Yeah, I'll go play this game, play that game. But I sit down, I'm like, all right, I want to play Hearthstone. But you'd like to do things outside of Hearthstone, Doc. What have you been up to outside of the game?
Well, so by the time this releases, it'll be Cortland's birthday will have already happened. So we have birthday day with Cortland's mom tomorrow, and then we have birthday dinner with Cortland's dad. And I've been playing so much Magic. I had my friends come over yesterday, and we played Commander from 6:30 to almost 2:00 in the morning. And then met up with them at our local game shop and played a couple games today for like 4 hours. Been doing that. Been trying to clean up the exterior of the house, just because houses get dirty and whatnot. So just trying to clean it up. We have white shutters and stuff on our house, so like those get dirty really easy. So just been trying to do some cleaning. And then the plums in the backyard are starting to get pretty close to being ripe. So it's just going out there, checking on those, making sure we pull any before they fall into the ground, that kind of stuff. And then League of Legends put out a new game mode called Swarm. It's like Vampire Survivors with a few League of Legends characters. You don't need to know anything about any of the League of Legends characters or what their abilities do to enjoy this mode of League of Legends. And it's multiplayer. So it's a survivor game that you can play with 3 other friends, have a 4-person squad, and the final boss starts at 15 minutes. That's when the boss encounter happens. So you have 14 minutes, 59 seconds to get as much XP and collect cards to upgrade your items and everything and evolve them to go and do this boss fight. So it's just been me and my friends doing a lot of running of that, and just trying to get all of our meta stats upgraded so that the game just gets easier. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to try to get Daniel Stormridge Sheldon in on it. I know he doesn't like League, doesn't want to be a part of that community, which is completely understandable. Because compared to Hearthstone, it's a big different community. The community behaves differently. But it's fun, and I know Stormridge likes Survivor games, so yeah, gonna see if he'll be interested in that. It's a very fun game mode. I definitely recommend it. How about yourself, Tito?
Well, speaking of Stormrage, I believe we encountered him during the theory crafting stream. How do we do, Doc?
Well, see, I want to walk this line of being nice to my best friend, but also we whooped his ass.
We sure did. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But for me, so this may sound weird. You know, everybody knows I'm looking for a job, and so I took a TSA test because, you know, even though I'm a computer scientist, I have to find something to pay the bills, right? So I'm applying to like everything. You name it, I'm applying it. If you need a software engineer with job experience, reach out to me, of course. But so this TSA test, they said, okay, go take this, and I went to like this place, and it wasn't TSA, it was a Proctor, and you know, you put all your stuff in a locker, and they bring you to a room with a computer, and it was a weird test where it was like the first part of it was you had to match, you know how you have that you draw and you draw from dot to dot, it was like 1 2 3 4, and when you get to it, it's a picture. It was like that with like patterns like ABC or 1 2 3 or then A1 B1 2 1. There was no picture, but it was just like do the patterns as fast as you can. And that was one test. Another test was it was like they would show you an image and they would show you 5 other images, and one of those images was a copy, and you had to kind of go through and like pick the same one as fast as you could for like, you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that, and do this pattern recognition. But then the third test took the longest, and it was this weird 2D to 3D test. So it was like picture like you have some like origami and you make like a 3D box out of that origami, and there's a certain way things fold. It would show you the 2D, show you the 3D, show you kind of like where the X was. Like they did pick like one line that was kind of like, or one side of things that would show you that, hey, this is what it looks like when it's folded, and this is where this particular side is. And you had to kind of match lines to lines. So like, hey, this fold here would be this line in the main picture. And a lot of them were easy. And then they started getting into weird shapes and stuff like that. So you really had to kind of think and wrap your head around how it was. And I don't even know why I'm taking this test. I'm just like, okay, sure. But it was weird. It was fun. You know, good half hour of my time. Outside of that, the reason why I brought up the job thing is because even though I'm looking for a job, we're possibly looking at maybe selling the house and moving somewhere else. And we're not sure where, not sure if we can do it, but we're in the process of like, my wife is purging things. We're bringing stuff to storage, selling some things, which is good anyway, right? But yeah. I just spent all day cleaning the front walkway of all like, you know, moss and overgrown grass, and my fingers hurt. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. And it will be nice. I think something like my audio has never really been great. I think it's because, like I said, I'm in this 3-season porch, which doesn't help with the audio. It's windows all around me. It's a high ceiling. It's not great for audio. So maybe I'll have an office where I can do recording from and do content from in the future. So, you know, here's seeing what's seeing. I'll keep you guys updated, and maybe I'll be moving to a town near you. But Doc, that's not what we're not here to. This is like so. We are recording on Wednesday. We're gonna record. Normally, we record on Sundays or Fridays or Saturdays or Mondays, depending on the guest. But on Wednesday, we're gonna have World 8 and Pilot on to talk about the expansion. Didn't want to have another whole episode where it was kind of like a real episode that we have, our A block, our B block, our guest, our interviews, or whatever. But we wanted to talk about theory crafting while it was actually relevant, because if we waited till we had that next episode, then who cares? Like, you're gonna be like, I don't care about your theory crafting. We already are playing with the things, and the whole meta's been created, and we already know everything. So we thought we'd just take a little bit of time here and talk about our experience with theory crafting. Now, our experience with theory crafting did not start off well. And it has nothing to do with Blizzard. It has nothing to do with the theory crafting. But we were trying to use the tool that Twitch provides to have guest hosts on your stream. Like, you can. So when I streamed with Judge last week or a few weeks ago, it worked great. Like, Judge came on, everything was smooth. He had his little picture up there. We were able to see everything. It was great. So I did not have a thought in my mind that things could go wrong. But Doc comes on. Doc came on, I think, like an hour later than I started, because he had to work.
Time zones and work.
Time zones and work. And I started earlier, but it was kind of awkward for me because I normally don't start streaming until 9. I started streaming until 6 here. And that means the dogs aren't settled. I still have to, my son's got stuff to do. I had to say goodnight. And it was it was fun. But that whole thing didn't work. So then we had to go from that to we tried to stream on Discord so Doc could see the board real time, and that didn't work so well. And then because it was getting the video all choppy, and I couldn't have Doc spectate me because he didn't have an account on the special server. So he had to kind of follow along, and I think by the end there wasn't much of a delay, right? Like, we did restart in the middle, and it was fine, but Doc's disembodied voice had to just kind of be there. But I thought it worked out okay, and I'm glad you were able to be there with me for the first theory crafting stream. Hopefully first. You never know, right? Maybe I didn't do so well, and they're like, well, but it was a blast. So those are the technical difficulties. And I went through for this episode, and I started, I just wanted to get every deck we played, and not every deck is a deck. Not every deck would be a real deck, but I played a lot more decks than I expected. Like, I was like, oh, I played that. And then I had forgotten playing some of these decks because it was just such a experience. I started with Paladin. This is all before Doc got here. And we played the buff Paladin with Pirates. We played Sunscreen Pally with Lanessa there. And we played a Holy Spell Sea Shanty Pally. And these were not good decks, but, buff Paladin is good. Sandcastle, real good. The Pirates, we have the pirate that gives another pirate Wind Fury. It's probably not needed in the deck. It's probably not going to be meta because you only can hit the pirate and you can only hit the charge pirate, and you have other ways to buff things. It's probably not good, but it felt good to Wind Fury down an opponent. I'm not going to lie. And Sandcastle is just really, really good. I felt bad because at the beginning, we kept drawing into the same person 3 times in a row because we both didn't take the time to let somebody else queue and make sure that happened. So I felt bad. We beat the person that we started with 3 times in a row. And with Paladin, I was like, the 3rd time I reached out to him, I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, I promise you, this is a different deck. But, it is what it is. Now, I think you got there for in time for the Big Hunter, or am I wrong?
No.
Okay. So we tried Big Hunter with Rycleaver, and the thought there is to get some of those 7/7 dinosaurs and some of your eggs and whatnot into the Rycleaver and get them on the board. And then, whatever. But it didn't quite work out as much as we were hoping, or at least with this very, very unrefined deck. Didn't play it that long, but it is fun. Like, I never got a sandwich, I don't believe. I'm going through the footage now, but I'm pretty sure I never made a sandwich. Do you remember a sandwich?
I remember us having 1 slice of bread and 9 other cards in hand, and then swinging with the cleaver. And yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. We burned it. That's right. I forgot about that. Oh, there was a lot going on. My counting wasn't great, but I thought we were gonna have this awesome Rye Cleaver, and then, oops, no. But yeah, some other people had some success with it, so I don't think it's gonna be a good card. I don't think it's gonna be meta, but I think it's gonna be fun as heck. And I really want to. The minions you put in your sandwich keep their buffs. So if you can somehow generate this with Paladin, you can get some really big buff Paladin things. You get this with Warrior, you can play Black Rock and roll. Now your things are all big. It's a big sandwich. It's like one of those Dagwoods that Dagwood used to have from the cartoons. But we did not get it to work. There are people that did. I think Baby Bear got it to work. No, you came in for the Warlock, right? You were there for the Warlock.
I think at the very end of that, yeah.
All right, so we started playing, and some of these decks I made, some of these decks people gave me. I don't know which is which. I know a couple of them. We played some token Death Rattle Warlock with the idea of getting our minions +1 and getting imps and whatnot, and that didn't go that great. But then we played Elemental Rogue. Elemental Rogue, I think out of everything, Elemental Rogue was a top 3 deck I'm worried about. Like, I'm going to play it. I think it's really good. I think we're going to see Lamplighter nerfed at some point. I think we're going to see Lamplighter nerfed like Shock Spitter was, because this is just basically Shock Spitter. And that what that card is for every elemental you have played previously, it stacks the damage. But it's not like Scar, which deals damages to the whole board. This is targeted damage. And in Rogue, you get to, I don't know, hit somebody for 7 damage. Break Dance, hit somebody for 7 damage. Shadow Step, deal somebody for 7 damage. And it is gross. If you are looking to... You can play decks, and some people like to try to farm ranks on that. I've done that before in the past. I've played like the, aggro decks, and I'm not that person anymore. But like the aggro decks that existed. I might play the aggro decks that are new. And I think I might play this, because this deck was really, really good. So if you're looking for something to maybe climb with, and when the meta is unsettled, I think this deck is the real deal. We also beat Daniel. I believe we beat Daniel Stormray Sheldon with this deck, if I am recalling correctly.
Yep, it was the mirror specifically.
Oh yes. Much. Then we played some of World 8's location shaman. So that might not be how he describes it. So World 8, if I'm saying it wrong, you can correct me when you're on the show next week. But it was basically you could discover random locations, or you could draw locations, and then you had the giants that every time you play a location got their cost reduced by, I believe, 2. So those are going to be interesting. I think in some decks, if you're playing any kind of location heavy decks, those might be even if it's not heavy, even if you got like maybe 2 locations that you're running, or 3 locations, those might be good cards in there. Because I think you can get them cheap pretty fast, and especially with something like now that I'm thinking about it, the Death Knight card that the ship card. It's I think it's 3 mana, 5 durability. Every time a minion dies, it resets, and it does 3 damage to random enemies. You get that going. That card was gross. You get that card going, you can have a giant free pretty quickly. But yeah, so that was a fun deck. I don't think we won that well. Did that well with it. The weird part about that one, you remember this one, Doc? We had Alchemist in the deck that didn't belong there. So when World 8 gave us the code, it translated something wrong, and it gave us Alchemist in the deck. And he was like, those don't belong there. But the Alchemist helped us out. The Crazed Alchemist, which flips the health, and I believe we won a game because of it, because we were able to swap the health and damage of something a couple times, and we got through some taunts, and we were able to win. So it was like, I think maybe they belong in the deck after all. We played Druid that Tic Tac had made. I think it's a Sleep Under the Star Druid. Again, we don't have labels for these things yet. People will come up with names for these as we go. We did see some Ziliacs. We saw some Kiliacs. It's Kiliacs off of the Inventor Boom, and then into the Druid spell that resurrects your 3 highest taunt cost minions is not going to be fun. I believe we had one game where we tried to do something like that. It might have been this one, and I thought it was an earlier game, but we had a bunch of taunts, and I thought we were going to be good, but then they played Kane. And I was like, oh, we finally got there. And like, cause we had seen a couple of Demon Hunters in a row. We got the board and Kane came. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what year is this? So deck number 2 that I recommend. Deck number 3. So Paladin is going to be good. I don't think there's any doubt that Paladin's still going to be good. And remember, we were required to use 10 cards from the new set. I usually use more because I was here to play the new cards. Again, not optimize. We wanted to have fun. I wanted to do some cool things. I didn't get as many combos or cool kind of things to happen as I wanted to. So I'm going to try to focus on that next time, if there's a next time. But Paladin's going to be a good deck. Elemental Rogue's going to be a good deck. And Acupuncture Priest, I'm calling it Acupuncture Priest. That's my name for it, is really good. Like, we killed some people real fast with that deck. And what was really nice is the Priest Legendary that gives you those 2 fortunes. If you get it like an acupuncture, that's 12 damage to your opponent's face. 12 damage to your face too, but if you're ahead because you're being aggressive, you don't care because you have more health than they do and they're dead. So it seemed really good. I felt really good playing that one. I felt really gross playing that one. We didn't play it that long because I didn't want to like just farm people, because that's not what the point was, but I played that. I'm like, oh, I have a really good feeling about that. Did you like any so far? We're almost through them all. Are there any decks that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, Elemental Rogue. That was just fun because I like doing like combo-y kind of more degenerate stuff. Like, I loved Shockspitter Hunter. I probably played close to like 200 games with that before the first nerf happened. It's also one of the decks I played in the first ever Tito Santana show match. When it was me versus Smarms.
That's right.
Love that deck dearly. So since this is very close to the same idea, I feel like I'm really going to like this, which is good because Rogue is not a class I have played a lot of outside of standard meta quest rogue. So that tells you how long it's been since I've really enjoyed playing the rogue class. And we haven't super talked about it yet, but kind of bigger taunt warrior tickles something in my card gamer heart that I really, really enjoy. So those are probably the 2 that I'm the most hype about. Obviously, I'm going to play Paladin because like Tito, I'm not a Paladin main. So those are the 3. So Elemental Rogue, big taunt warrior, and just any Paladin are the 3 that I'm the most excited about.
All right. First off, I am shocked at the allegations of me maining any class, but we'll leave that there. So, we also played, there's a few more decks we played. We played Donkey Mage, which is not because it's anything to do with a donkey other than Donkey, also known as HS Guru. Now the Donkey.top website creator. That was a list that Pilot got, which was a little different than Pilot. Now, I'll talk about that after. We played that. We played Razzle Dat. And again, I'm just making these names up. I went back over the lists. I'm not sure necessarily what the real goals are. You try to play these decks as somebody make a deck. They have their imagination on what the deck's supposed to do. With such little knowledge, you take this deck and you say, okay, let me see what we're trying to do with it. You're probably playing it wrong because I don't know. But the Razzler Dazzler DK, which was okay and fun, wasn't very good for us at that point. Same thing with the Razzle Dazzler Shaman, which was kind of like a spell school Razzle Dazzle. Get those 7 mana cards down. They give you, I think, 5/5s for each spell school that you cast. Mm-hmm. Those decks were fun, but we didn't really have a lot of success. Vona Warlock, which I think is going to be really good, but I don't think we had a refined list for that, obviously, and I think we won 1 game with that. We also played Black Rock and Rye Warrior, which we were trying to make Black Rock and Roll happen and put them in a sandwich. And I don't think that deck was all that well. I believe that was I think it was built on the fly actually, but I think there's something going. I think that's a trap card or a trap deck that we will try to make work when we shouldn't, and we will regret it, but we'll have a lot of fun doing it. And finally, we did try to play some Taunt Druid, which I believe is the one that we lost with Kane. I think that's the one where we finally get some taunts down in Kane. And we wanted to get like the beach whales down and stuff and ramp really fast. And the ramp cards feel really gross. Snack Mix or whatever it's called, which is get 2 mana next turn. That's really, 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 really good. That card is gross in not only Druid, but Warrior. And all the new buff cards, they're just really, really good. We're not going to panic. So one of the things we want to do is we want to see the meta get settled. So when there's a deck that's dominating over the first couple days because everyone's excited about it, we're not going to panic. We're going to say, okay, how do we beat this? And people will probably get bored with it. People will find ways to beat it, and the meta will adjust. So let's not if we can, as a community, I'm asking you, listener, right now, don't tweet at Ridiculous Hat and Celestalon and Cora on day 1, day 2, saying this needs to be nerfed. They're looking at stats. They know what might need to be nerfed and what not needs to be nerfed. Give it time to settle, because if we nerf everything so quickly, then we get a meta that no one likes because it's the same 3 decks that have really boring win conditions, and no one wants that. You want to have the fun. You want to have Wheel of Death. You want to have whatever. So give it time, let it settle. We'll get there. But no, we played right until the end. We played some people. We played McBannerface. We played Tyler Knife,
Lieutenant Eddie.
Lieutenant Eddie. We played. Didn't we play somebody named
Housewife?
Oh, and that was nice. Housewife actually reached out on a whisper afterwards, which was really nice because she was like, I was so scared against your deck this whole game. And I was like, oh, wow, nice. But it was nice to we reached out. It was nice to just be in that sphere of all these creators that like we know. And everybody was like either someone brand new that was excited just like us or someone established and whatnot. I didn't get to see a lot of the people I was kind of hoping to see, and we never got featured on stream. Like I was hoping we'd run into, some of the Coin Concede crew.
I mean, we didn't we?
Oh, no.
Didn't we play Edel?
Yeah, we played Edel, but Edel was on the, on a show account. Like she was not, I don't think she was streaming, and she wasn't like on the Coin Concede Discord, on the Coin Concede Twitch. She was playing one of like the pretend accounts, and Pilot from somehow knew that she was on that account. So he just said, that's Edel. I'm like, you think so? When we messaged, hey, like Edel? She's like, yep. So that was fun. It was just a blast. It was, do I still sound, I'm still like on a high from it. And it's been like how many days later? But anyway, Doc, we wanted to just have a short episode. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to keep this under 30 minutes or less guaranteed. So this will not be a crossover there with that other podcast that we miss. But, Doc, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Doc McButt. And how about yourself, Tito?
You can find me Twitter, Twitch, and now TikTok at Tito Santana HS. Let's go. You get any shout outs, Doc, or anything you want to promote?
Yeah, just first shout out, happy birthday, Cortland. I love you. I know you're not going to listen to this, because you just won't, but mean a lot to me. Happy you're having fun at a concert right now. Happy birthday. And then second shout out, if you are an expecting father or brand new father, my dear friend, Tom Locke, or Brandon Downs on Twitter, he has started a podcast called The Foundry Fathers. And it's a podcast for dads, by dads, to talk about like their parenting styles and like what worked with them and what to expect as being a new father. and all that kind of stuff. There's only one episode that they're proud about that they advertise, but there's technically 4 that exist. So that's the Foundry Fathers. If you're a dad or an expecting father, feel free to go give it a listen. Brandon and his co-host, as someone who's not a father, have some pretty interesting insights to me on fatherhood and how to deal with different parts of your child's development. How about yourself, Tito?
If they have one more episode, they'll have more than the weekly wipe.
Yeah.
Doc's like, I wish I never told you about that podcast. I first off want to shout out Amber Flight Gaming. We had 8 people in theory crafting, including myself, which was it was just so nice to see like everybody on my new team that was all excited and into it. So I also want to shout out Tyler Knife, who raised money for Super Blind Man's widow. She has a GoFundMe, and don't know the exact amount, but it was not trivial how much money they raised right there. So that's great. And I especially want to thank Pilot, who will be on the show, like I said, on Wednesday, but he did such a good job of being the moderator on the show and on the theory crafting stream. And also, I had asked them to like, come on, let's get some decks like all week. I'm like, help me get some decks. And we didn't really have time. He didn't really have time because he's super busy. He's running like 13 band camps and writing shows for like writing the programs and whatnot. So he didn't really have time. And he got me a few decks. And then like, we're like 3/4 of the way through. I think I played like 2 of them or 1 of them or something like that. And he's like, yeah, thanks for asking me to make all these decks. It was so it was hard to like, I'll tell you this. Most nights, small streamer, it's quiet, couple people chatting, chit-chatting, playing some games, nice and relaxing. To kind of be in the role of somebody like streamers that you normally watch that have the chat that's flying by and they're trying to play the game, they're trying to interact with the community and whatnot. It is hard. It's not hard to play the game. It's not hard to interact with the community. It's not hard to deal with the other things that happen on the side too, because there's a lot going on even outside of both of those things. Each one of those things by themselves is easy. Combining all of them and trying to make sure you're engaging with your community and interacting and making them feel part of the show and playing the game and actually winning at the game if that's your goal and whatnot, it's hard. So make sure if you have a favorite streamer out there, and just tell them how much you appreciate them, because it is hard work and it's not really for a lot of money or any money for some people. So I just think just be nice. It's fun, but it's also work. It's not just sitting there playing video games. But anyway, Doc, I think that's it. I think we're toast. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Slide 2 brothers meet one another when they slide up to the mic. It's bread and butter with one another. Let's start up that recording light.